What's up, YouTube? Car Guru here with another video. So my last video, if you haven't watched it, I will put a link in the description below, was about the 5 things that I love or like about my E39 BMW 540i. And this video is going to be the polar opposite of that, in the sense that I am going to get into the 5 things that I dislike, not hate, dislike. So let's get this party started, and I'll start driving. Number 1 that I dislike about this car, and this could be something to do with BMWs of this era, the paint quality. The paint is extremely thin on my E39 540i. I mean, the first time I took a trip on the highway, I drove for 3-4 hours, and of course you're going to share the road with all sorts of vehicles, and especially trucks, and sometimes, depending on the highway, you're forced to drive behind them. So with that in mind, I got stone chips on my very first trip, on my hood, on my front bumper, and I just couldn't believe it, because we're talking about BMW here. Come on. Why is the paint like paper thin? It doesn't make any sense. Number 2 thing that I dislike is this large diameter steering wheel. Now, again, this is something that could be fixed in the aftermarket if you so choose, or you can pick out another steering wheel from the same car, or even the E39 M5 or the M Sport model of this 540i version. That steering wheel is a lot less in diameter. It's not as huge as this. I mean, look at this thing, and it's not even the camera angle that exaggerates this. This thing is literally like the size of my entire chest, like probably half my body. So it's ridiculous. Steering wheels like this belong in buses and trucks. I mean, this does not need such a big wheel to, you don't need such a big wheel in this car to maneuver it. It's hydraulic steering. So this 4-spoke wheel is huge in diameter, and I absolutely dislike it. And I do love the 3-spoke one, so who knows, I might just upgrade it. Number 3, I hate the cup holders in this car. Every once in a while, when you find the need to put a water bottle in there or something, they are just really, really badly designed. I mean, they're flimsy, and then you press them and they pop out, and they're like super thin. So whatever you put in there is going to move around if you're on a bumpy road, and it will most likely spill on your interior, your gear lever console over here. And speaking of gear lever, when you're shifting, so when you're going into 3rd and 5th, if you've got a big enough mug or container or flask in the cup holder, whatever you can fit in there, there's a chance you'll hit it. Why can't European car manufacturers get cup holders right? It is really annoying. Number 4, dead pixels. Now this applies to pretty much all the older cars with the older generation of LCD displays, the ones with the dots. This is no exception. It's really annoying, and I dislike it, because the BMW 540i and the E39s, a lot of the information, very important information, you can scroll through the gauge cluster, and things like coolant temperature and your oil level and whatnot. And yet when these pixels go out, you can't get any of that information. You can't see the time, the date, your fuel mileage, your average speed, things of that nature, things that might be relevant to you as a driver that you probably check. So really annoying. And the same thing continues with the radio as well. So the radio display, if the pixels go out, guess what? You can't see what you're listening to. You don't know what radio station you're at. There are fixes, of course, and I have to do that. I'm just being really lazy. Finally, number 5. Now, I love the BBS style 5 rims, and they're of the basket weave variety, so they look super cool when they're clean, and it's just gorgeous 2-piece rims. And you know, just beautiful, beautiful design of a wheel. And 17 inches look perfect and just complement the rest of this vehicle very well, in my personal opinion. Yet, the reason I dislike them is because they are just a pain in the rear to clean. I cannot stress how hard it is to clean them. It's not a matter of spraying them down with wheel cleaner, because when you get brake dust on them and, you know, whatever else, you gotta actually get in there with some sort of a soft brush or something, you know, like a rag or something. Just get in those tight spots and clean out all the gunk, clean out all the brake dust. And that gets super annoying, especially because you gotta clean them every week. I've got carbon ceramic pads on this car and just regular steel rotors. And I mean, those pads just really, really get dusty. And especially when you use them even more and they've heated up, you have to make sure they look clean, because they are actually gorgeous to look at. And the whole car just looks beautiful. So that's it for the 5 things that I dislike about my E39 540i. And you can easily solve all of these issues, really. And again, I'm nitpicking, because all these things, while I dislike, they don't bother me on an everyday basis. So that's probably the reason why I haven't really addressed them or made any effort to address them. And I mean, I'm okay with it because I love this car. That's my list. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you really like this video. And go ahead and watch the other videos as well if you want to know more cool stuff about what it is to live with this E39 540i on a daily basis. And subscribe to the channel again if you haven't done so, and I'll keep putting more content out there for you guys. So once again, much appreciated. I hope you all have a good one. Take care.